Welcome to the Filmistines, the Double Feature podcast. Join us as we unravel the interwoven experience of the continuous conversation of cinema. If you like what you hear, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines. Come right in, come request a film, grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready to join the 100-year conversation. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmistines. Thank you guys for joining us today. Today I am joined by my suicidal friend, Lucy.
Hello, everyone.
Remember, you can join us every Monday and Friday for brand new episodes of the Filmistines on all of our free feeds, and every other Wednesday on patreon.com/Filmistines for Patreon exclusive episodes, like our recent Patreon exclusive episode where we talked about the 1992 and 2019 Aladdin films. Go check that out, and some other recent episodes include Snowpiercer, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the new Beetlejuice, the old Beetlejuice, and Borderlands. Remember to leave nice comments, thoughts, and ideas on our Patreon as well. Come subscribe, come request a movie, go rate us on Apple Podcasts, and subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate all the support. Thank you guys very much.
Are you stressed and filled with anxiety like I am? Maybe in a bit of pain from that car accident you had a few years ago? Well, the sponsor of today's episode, Hempville CBD, has us covered. They have the highest quality products created by chemists and doctors. Hempville carries everything from CBD to THC dispensary grade without those despicable dispensary prices. Order your Delta 8, 9 edibles and vapes along with the THCA flower and get free shipping when you spend $50 or more at hempvillecbd.com. Check out the link in the description for more details.
But today we will be talking about David Ayer's 2016 film, Suicide Squad. And I just wanted to start off by saying, or asking the question rather, who did this film remind me of?
Borderlands?
Did it remind you of Borderlands?
No, not really.
No, this film reminded me deeply of Rebel Moon.
Oh.
This cool factor is smeared all over this shit. If you told me this was a Zack Snyder film, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know about the Snyderisms or the Ayer-isms. Couldn't tell the difference. But I also wanted to ask, why in the world did we not just get a Jared Leto Joker and Margot Robbie Harley Quinn film? They were the only element that was remotely interesting in this film. I was a little surprised to see Will Smith be kind of our main character. He's kind of the major through line. I'm probably too stupid, but I don't know what was going on in this film. I don't know why the Enchantress was doing her shit. I don't know what the Joker B-plot was about either and how it related to anyone outside of Harley Quinn, obviously, but anything substantial was in their little flashbacks that they had, which were obviously the high points of the film. If I remember correctly, people were really down on Jared Leto's Joker. And I just want to say, as of right now, I'd rather a Jared Leto, Margot Robbie, Joker, Harley Quinn movie over the Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga film we're about to get.
Ooh, hot take. That's a big hot take, my friend.
I don't know.
I don't know if I'll agree with you on that one.
I'm a little down on Lady Gaga, so maybe she can redeem herself. I'm not sure. We'll see.
We'll see. Should we have just put Margot Robbie with Joaquin Phoenix?
That may have been cool. I don't know. We'll see that movie when it comes out, you know. I'm also going to say I'm sick and tired of watching bad movies.
Ooh.
This movie's garbage. But I'm very curious, how do you feel about the 2016 Suicide Squad?
Let me just say, I loved the Beetlejuice film. So that's you, my friend, that hasn't seen a good movie in a while. Now, I'm not very familiar with the DC universe, so please excuse a lot of my ignorance, because this film feels like it's a type of film that you have to know the world a little bit, or you have to know the characters, because I had no idea who more than half of these characters were. I'm also not the biggest DC fan. Batman is overrated, in my opinion. If anyone likes Superman, kudos to you, because I don't know anyone who likes Superman. But I will admit, DC has some pretty cool bad guys, some pretty good villains. Joker might be in the top of my favorite villains out there. Is this the most boring DC film I have ever seen? No. Nothing has put me to sleep faster than Batman vs. Superman. I have never finished that movie. And unless someone recommends it, I'm not finishing that movie. But is this my favorite? Also, no. And I won't say what my favorite DC film is because I'm hoping we cover it. And I'll admit, I do like my traditional heroes, my traditional good guys. I love films that have these core values that we try to instill on people. I'm a sucker for those. So it takes a bit more out of me to understand films with anti-heroes. And I definitely had a hard time here. My favorite part of superhero films are definitely the villains. And I was pretty underwhelmed with our villain here, Enchantress, played by Cara Delevingne. But I will say that this ensemble had more chemistry than the Borderlands team, while still maintaining this kind of weird dual focus on Deadshot and Harley Quinn. But the characters just suck. There should be no excuse for characters to be bad here because there's so much source material out there with comics. I mean, it's crazy. Maybe it's overwhelming, and that's why we don't know where to take these characters. Because we have the man who never misses. The man who can climb anything. A croc man. I mean, come on, there's got to be more to them than that. But this is how we lay him out in this film. Where's my investment to this team that I'm obviously supposed to care for? This film has some serious pacing issues that the whole entire film I was waiting to see what was really happening in this movie. And at the 2-hour mark, I was still waiting to see what was happening in this movie. It was a bit too long and maybe a tad boring because we didn't have anything that grabbed my attention. Where's the hook in this movie? If you're not properly setting up your characters in the beginning of the film and you're not setting up maybe a place or a location, then what are you doing? My favorite part of the movie was the soundtrack, and that's not okay. If I want music, I can just go to Spotify, not watch a 2-hour movie.
Soundtrack was garbage.
Oh, I love the soundtrack. There were no fun props, no fun costumes, no fun sets. And with all the visual color in this film, as far as the graphics and the trailers, the movie posters, I mean, there's a lot of color everywhere. I thought we would get more color in the film itself. And we do get that a little bit with Harley Quinn and the Joker, but that's as much as we get. Deadshot doesn't have a badass costume, doesn't have a badass gun. I mean, that seems given.
Deadshot's got a badass attitude, though.
Does he? Killer Croc. I don't know.
I don't know what that was
exactly.
Either. Oh my god, dude. What an embarrassing role.
And did Captain Boomerang even have a boomerang?
Yeah, he threw it a time or two.
Okay, maybe I missed it. So that's on me. But overall, this film was less than okay. I don't think I'd ever rewatch it. And I don't think I'd ever recommend this to anybody.
Oh, I would advise people to never watch this film.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's a complete mess. Yeah, the setup thing feels like something that might pop out of a video game movie, which this isn't too far from, I guess. But we had these little injections of us trying to feel for the characters. Deadshot had to face his daughter when, his work found him in his leisure time. El Diablo killed his wife and kids because he got upset. Harley Quinn's in love.
Nothing wrong with being in love.
And we feel bad for Boomerang because he's got a stupid-ass name. Rick Flag is in love with one of the personalities of our villain. This movie is infinitely stupid. The setup of this film reminded me of a Command and Conquer type game where you have this overworld and you select units to accomplish different objectives. There's no relationship between the units outside of the fact that they kill other stuff and they counter other enemies. There's no motivation to bring these characters from A, B to C. We have this half-assed try at a relationship between Harley Quinn and Joker, and of course it was the B-plot, so it can't go too deep. But why is this B-plot the only stylized part of the film? It's also the only part of the film that has any character moments where they talk to each other. There's a sense of the past, present, and future. Why are we scared of the Enchantress? Why is she dancing like a fucking idiot? Why did she go get her brother? Why'd we have that stupid ass bit where Viola Davis Uzi'd everybody? And I hate to say this, but I am so unmoved, deeply unmoved and bored by so many superhero-oriented things that I'm beginning to think that the source material is part of the problem. I may be wrong, but there's maybe just a certain flavor of junk food here that I just don't click with. You know how some folks just don't like McDonald's for one reason or another? I guess I'm just kind of like that. This shit makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from because, and especially recently, a lot of the Marvel films are guilty pleasures. I'm assuming for a lot of people, but definitely for me. And of course, I bring up the Marvel films because that is what I can relate to the most as far as superhero films go. Because other superhero films, I don't know if I'm a fan of them. And there's this certain quality that these movies have that obviously people who appreciate character-driven plots can't click with. And that's fine to some degree. But where's the action-driven plot in this film? Where's the people screaming? Where's the people of Earth about to be killed?
Yeah, where's the threat? Where's the
Yes.
implication of consequence?
Where's the world at stake here moment?
I don't care that their heads are going to get blown off. Why do I care about that, you know? Oh yeah, because Deadshot's got something to prove to his daughter.
I don't know if I take it that far, because I do care, at least that these characters don't have their head blown off. I've managed to care about them at least that much. Because I think we have something there, but we don't do a great job with. And I don't know what the main issue is, because I'm sorry, Will Smith is not a bad guy. Will Smith can't play a bad guy. And even though you're an anti-hero, here in the Suicide Squad team, whatever, you're a villain. Hiring someone like Will Smith pretty much guarantees a certain quality to your film. Having someone like Will Smith in your film is gonna make him the protagonist, whether you want him to be or not. Will Smith does comedic roles, like Men in Black, like Bad Boys, the genie in Aladdin, maybe even Shark Tale, I don't know. I think of Will Smith when I think of that movie. The fish looks just like him. Or he has these really deep characters that he does a phenomenal job with, like in King Richard, like in I Am Legend, like in probably one of my favorite Will Smith movies, 7 Pounds. So there's already this stigma with his characters to put him in this film because he doesn't come off as this bad guy I'm supposed to feel sorry for. He already has this shit together. I see a character like Harley Quinn played by someone like Margot Robbie, and I get that. I get that she's sexy and she's troubled or she's mentaled because she doesn't have a stigma to her character like Will Smith does.
Yeah, I feel you on the Will Smith thing. He doesn't have a lot of range, obviously. He's also not like Margot Robbie and Jared Leto and some of these other guys where they are, I think they're called character actors, where they slip into these, costumes and play these really performative roles. And that's kind of what they're known for. Like, I think Joaquin Phoenix is a good example. Willem Dafoe, maybe.
And Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah, it's a good example. And, that's obviously a method of acting. But Will Smith does kind of demand this niceness and welcomeness.
Yes.
And they realize that in the film. He is a nice guy in the film. He is the only understanding character. He's obviously the odd man out as far as his wickedness or psychoticness. He's kind of the guy in prison that was just in the wrong place, wrong time.
At least we think so, because we don't get that much of a backstory to Captain Boomerang and Killer Croc and Slipknot.
Sure. So it puts us on this path of a weird focus, I think. And they try to inject this Will Smithness into some of the other characters. With El Diablo killing his family and whatnot, it becomes this problem of these criminals, meta-humans, whatever they call it, are human too kind of things. But you're constantly challenged with this so what, because that's just it. We get that these are humans too. Well, show us their humanity. Don't make us pity them, you know?
Right, and I guess that's why we gave Will Smith a daughter, to show us that he's a father too, but that's it.
And I guess that's why we casted Will Smith, because he's a great person to show some humanity.
Yeah.
At least on a surface level to some degree.
Until the slap.
You know, maybe that was the most human thing he ever did.
Oh, shit. I like a lot of action in my superhero films. I like the people running. I like the people screaming. I like the buildings being blown up and torn.
Boring.
I like the fighting. I like the cool props superheroes use to fight.
Sure.
I think the Marvel films have that down. I want to be scared for what's going on in the world. Because that's the point of this Task X initiative that Viola Davis's character, Amanda, wants to have here. Right? We want to have this X squad. So if Batman dies, how do we know that the next Batman isn't going to be crazy or mean or whatever?
Sure. No, the premise is actually pretty nice.
So
the
yeah,
concern,
yes.
I enjoy that.
I do too. But as far as the action, the closest we came to something sustainable for me was the train scene when Enchantress's brother morphed into a human, ate a human. I don't know exactly what the terminology is there when you embody a human. And he was at the train station and then drops to the ground, and people are so concerned for him. They like go near him, and then he explodes and hurts people, and then hops in the train rail station, like inside the actual where the train is. I have no idea what that's called. And he starts like shooting energy power shit at the train. And I thought we were going somewhere with this, because this is the guilty pleasure action I like. This chaoticness of the actual world. The people screaming makes me start caring a little bit more about why we want the villain not to win. But then again, it goes nowhere.
Yeah, no, totally. It was just another stupid ass point. We had the Enchantress summon her brother in such a way that it made it feel like she was summoning someone bigger than her, which he literally is, I guess, but she's still kind of in command here. And what's the point of the brother? He becomes the bodyguard at the end to fight El Diablo, and we have this kind of showdown.
Yeah, she pretty much needs him to cover for her while she continues to do whatever else she's doing.
And she's doing what exactly?
Learning how to dance? Because I like Enchantress's backstory. I like that this Dr. June was on a hike, fell on a cliff, discovered some shit. I like that quite a lot. But then there's so little motivation for what she's doing that this backstory no longer is of my concern.
She's evil and wants to do evil things, like the guys in Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't know about no Star Wars, but Enchantress should have been cooler. Yeah, but I will add that I like Diablo's setup. I like this idea that he gets mad and blows up, and there's basically this footage of him doing that to other people. And I like that he got so mad with his wife that he incinerated her and the kids, and it's a pretty messed up story. I just don't like what we did with the character himself. I didn't like this scene in the beginning where they're trying to convince him to join this X squad, this task force, and he basically is like, nah, I'm not using fire because I've done some bad with it, and then continues to say the word bye and fire. It's like, wait, dude, I thought you weren't using fire. Like, you just picking and choosing. And then the very crucial scene that we completely royally fuck up, we make him the center of it. And I'm talking about the bar scene where it's supposed to be this big pivotal moment.
It's the family moment.
It's the family moment, and he says we're all family, and I was like, whoa, since when?
Yeah, even Killer Croc said something for the first time in that moment. It was like, oh, he speaks.
And he said something stupid, right? I don't even remember what he said.
Everything he said was stupid. that's a dumbass character to have in this movie.
And it's so sad because he's this type of Drax character. He's this type of Krieg character from Borderlands. He's the muscly, kind of weird looking guy. I would even argue the Rock guy in Fantastic Four. And there's a certain charm to those characters. But we completely make it so stupid here for Killer Croc. And it's so sad. We don't give him a backstory. And I'm sure his backstory would be awesome. Because why is he the way he is? Why does he look like a crocodile?
He's a gangster crocodile.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was this an experiment gone wrong? Was he born like this? I mean, I'm invested. I'm interested. But we don't get anything. All his backstory was he was treated like a monster, so he became a monster. Ooh, okay. That's it? What am I supposed to do with that? That bar scene felt like one of those moments where the director was telling you how we're supposed to be feeling instead of letting you feel the feels.
Yeah, it was almost identical to the family scene in Beetlejuice. Just like all of a sudden, we're going to give you the big takeaway from this film.
I wouldn't have been mad at all if they would have just cut that scene out and said, this is the part of the story where our heroes are now family. Okay. Like, that's as informative as that scene was to me.
You know what? I would love if superhero movies and movies of this ilk all became silent films.
I like this Batman and Flash cameo, but I didn't understand why we have this Flash Batman cameo. Why are they here?
I mean, I guess it's just to indicate the caliber of the villain.
The world building?
Yeah, and to ultimately connect it to, I guess, what was happening in the DCU. Is that what it's called? DCCU? Is that what we're calling it?
I had no clue. But wouldn't the Joker tell us that? I mean, I dare say the Joker is more iconic than Flash.
I mean, probably, but also 90% of the people who are going to go see this, I assume, will very much know this is a DC thing, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's irrelevant. I think it's just there to connect it to the bigger picture of the DCCU, or to try to validate the caliber of villain. Because, oh man, Batman's after Deadshot. It must be a big deal, you know? Maybe Deadshot's a big deal in the comics, and it should be obvious.
Okay. I guess I can see that. But we're just trying to make a point of what would happen if these superheroes aren't in this world anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what leads Viola Davis's character, Amanda, right?
Yeah.
To the point of asking that question. I don't know if there's like previous setup for that kind of thing. That may be some context we're missing.
Maybe because we know Superman died. Maybe because we're told Superman dies. I don't know if he actually died in previous films, and I don't know.
Sure, and if Superman can die, you know, everyone can die, right, kind of thing.
Yeah, we're fucked.
So it brings up that concern.
Because they bring up a situation where now that Superman's dead, what if the next Superman, the next metahuman Superman, decides to go to the White House, rip it open, and kill the president? That's kind of what her selling point is, to create this task force. And that's when the whole government was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, we're going to let you do this.
This film kind of reminds me of the recent run of Godzilla films in the US here, where we're given enough context to literally see why the events are taking place, but so little context to give a shit about anything that's happening. You know, because that's the big thing with the Godzilla films, the recent ones, where we focus too much on the humans. Where is the Godzilla? And do we really want the Godzilla? Because then there's no context for anything that's going to happen. We're just going to have these old 1960 Godzilla films again with just really nice effects.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, there's an audience for that, no doubt. But you almost need to pick a lane kind of thing.
Yeah, we should have gone way more violent.
And it's kind of funny, we're many years out from this film now, and we've seen the reboot, I guess we could call it, of Suicide Squad from 2022 or 21. And there's this kind of meta acknowledgement of, well, the 2016 Suicide Squad film sucks, so we're just going to completely gut it and do something completely different. And of course, that also reminds me of Beetlejuice, funny enough. The first one where Lydia comes down and is like, the ghosts don't really want to talk. It's like, okay, so what about, what is going on? It's just it's a mess. I hate it.
And it's also a mess. It's so messy that I noticed how bad the CG was. That's saying something. I'm just going to say that. There were a few scenes where I didn't know what was going on. Was it the lighting? Was it me? Was I sleepy? Was my internet going weird? It's like, what was going on? Why is there this weird glow around Will Smith at this particular moment? The whole ending with Enchantress was bland.
Yeah, it was so bad.
I will not agree with you with the Marvel CG. Again, I'm not a CG expert, but that looks great to me. Iron Man's suits look fucking awesome. Like that big Iron Man suit in Avengers Age of Ultron. Awesome moment in the film. There's this certain quality to the characters' costumes that I feel is missing here. But again, I'm not a CG expert. But the way they move, the way they fight, the way they do things, I have never questioned. I have never had to pause the film and say, what is that? But as far as Suicide Squad, the way some of these characters were moving around the CG was bizarre. There were also some weird editing moments, especially around Mr. J. They almost felt Saw-like with the flashing and the characters making these weird faces in like the span of 3 seconds. It felt weird. I know these moments are supposed to make me feel like he's unreliable and he's chaotic.
He's crazy.
But I didn't feel that.
No, I feel you. Yeah, the choreography was not good. I will say, this rendition of the Joker, this gangster, kind of mafioso type character, is pretty cool. I like this is he or is he not into Harley Quinn thing. I wish that was the movie. That would be a great dynamic.
Yeah, as far as the Joker goes, I haven't had a bad moment with the Joker. Whether it's Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, or Joaquin Phoenix. I don't have a lot of negative reviews on him. Even this one, I like him. I like the story with Harley Quinn and him. I love that you said that because the whole time I was like, does he even love her as much as she is obviously into him?
That would have been a great thing to play up in
Yeah.
an actual Joker Harley Quinn movie.
And then Amanda's like, well, Harley's actually crazier than he is. And you're like, wait, so is she playing him? Like, oh my gosh, what is this? So yeah, I do like that.
It would have been kind of cool if we started off with this Suicide Squad type thing where Harley Quinn is clearly our main character. She gets abducted or whatever with Joker, and that's kind of where our story follows, and it somehow interweaves again with the Suicide Squad's mission and stuff. And I don't know if that would have been any better, but it would have had a little bit more focus in between a couple characters, and I don't know, maybe been a little more thought-provoking.
And I know you're going to hate me for this, but I do like a lot of the graphics that happened in the beginning of the film when Amanda was introducing these characters. She was like at a dinner table talking to someone and pulls out their files and gives us this like really quick backstory on each one. Obviously spending a little bit more time on Deadshot and Harley Quinn than the others. But when we're introduced to Deadshot, we get a picture of him. It's a still shot, and then we get these like letters, these words kind of describing how fast he can shoot or his misses. Like, I don't really know what that information was.
No, sure, it's very stylized, very gamey. It's cool. And it's crazy that we kind of light this fuse and it just full stops when they leave, I would say, the compound. When they get on with the mission, it's like, what happened? When they meet Katana, basically. Katana, what is this Katana girl? I forgot
about Katana.
Is.
Yeah. No, for sure. And we should have kept some of those charming elements throughout the film, because even though they were a bit inconsistent or not as cohesive as I would have liked them to be, because they each had their own font, they each had their own color, they each had their own movement, and I would have liked to see more consistency with each one as a way of tying in these characters. I kind of liked it.
Sure, and you see that in some of the promotional materials too, with all the color and everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, where is this in the movie?
Exactly.
And of course, that would have embraced this coolness, because we had this coolness pretty much injected within all the characters and their attitude and their inability to really communicate on some deeper level, even with the Marine guy. It's mega cringe, but if we could have just embraced some of the style, maybe we would have had a clearer lens of focus. I mean, you would have had to still gut the rest of the movie for anything to make sense, but...
No, for sure. And the sound design behind the names popping up, I mean, I was here for that, for sure.
And then we continue to run with this dumbass soundtrack left and right, and it's just like every scene is a new music drop. It's just like, what is going on? Like, this is... I can't.
I like that. Because it is chaotic, like these characters are. But that's it. It's the other elements you have a problem with. Let me just tell you. Then we have the end of the film. We defeat Enchantress. Amanda gives them a choice. You join or die, basically, with some perks if you join. They all return to their cells. They each have these rewards. I like that Harley gets her espresso machine. I love that. That's hilarious. Cracked me up. And I think Killer Croc gets a TV down there in the sewer, if I'm not mistaken.
He gets his BET channel and a couch.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And then we have Joker breaking in and frees Harley Quinn, setting us up for a sequel. Maybe it's just me, but I'm trying to get the so what meaning of the end. Is it that nice guys finish last? Is it that Amanda was the real villain here all along? Are these guys even heroes? Or that you can find friendship in the most unlikely places? I like that feel-good moment at the end of the film where one of those messages has hit home with me. I love that feeling. I don't like feeling like I have to find what they were trying to say, especially in a movie like this.
Yeah, I don't think they had any idea what they were trying to say. Just so we all are very clear, David Ayer also wrote the Fast and the Furious movie, the first one.
Ah, family.
All right, man. Well, thank you for watching this movie with me and talking about it here today.
You're very welcome.
Do you have a budget guess?
My budget guess is 150 mil. It was 2 hours. It had a lot going on. It had a lot of CG. We had some big name actors. So it sounds like an expensive film.
It's really sad that you're not that far off.
Oh, no.
It's 175.
Oh, no. That's a lot.
That is a mess of a movie, man. No movie should cost that much. It went on to make $749 million. So it definitely made some money, obviously. And over on Letterboxd with 1.85 million people, they weighed in at a 2.1.
Ooh. I thought this movie was liked.
You know, I've heard people say that, and I've also heard people say that Jared Leto is a problem. Jared Leto's Joker, and Jared Leto's Joker is easily the best part of the film.
Yeah, I definitely don't have a problem with the Joker. That's not the problem in this film. I'm giving this a 1.5.
So you had a small amount of fun.
I had a small amount of fun. There were bits and pieces I really liked the soundtrack, liked some of the graphics. It felt a little bit more cohesive as far as this ensemble we had. And even though it was too long, I didn't want to turn it off.
I definitely wanted to turn it off. Yeah, this is a solid half star for me.
Oh, no.
2 in a row. That's what I'm saying. I need a palate cleanser. I need to watch something that's gonna give me something. I don't know. Something.
Yeah, that sounds like a movie that's gonna make me cry or gonna make me think about for days.
I'm envious of each and every one of you people out there who enjoys and partaking in the junk food and the garbage. I have such a hard time clicking with bad films because I know there's, lots of people out there who love shitting on bad films and love watching bad films with their friends. But maybe bad films are an acquired taste, like cigars and alcohol, right? Wine.
Ain't that the truth?
David Ayer also directed The Beekeeper, which came out earlier this year.
Oh, that's a fun
Another
movie.
junk food movie. I like that movie better than this one, though.
Yeah, but there's a serious problem in that movie.
He didn't turn in the bees.
No, I meant this fraud, but that's also a second big problem.
That's fair, yeah. As far as the plot goes,
Yeah.
he's a real hero.
Yeah, he's the real hero here.
I don't know how I feel about these post-John Wick kind of movies,
Oh, I love him.
but I think I'm sort of here for that. Maybe that's my junk food genre, so. But yeah, man, thank you again for watching this movie, and thank you guys for listening to this episode of The Filmistines. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Remember, we post every Monday and Friday with brand new episodes of The Filmistines on all of our free feeds, and every other Wednesday on patreon.com/filmistines for Patreon exclusive episodes, like our recent Patreon exclusive episode where we talked about the 2 Aladdin films from 1992 and 2019. The next movie we will be talking about is a 1998 film called Happiness, directed by Todd Solondz. This is a great film, so get ready for it.
Oh, that's nice. That sounds like a happy film.
Please look forward to that. Remember to leave nice comments, thoughts, and ideas on our Patreon as well. Come subscribe. Come write in. Come request a movie. Go rate us on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube. We appreciate all the support. Thank you guys very much. But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of The Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed the discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. And follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching and keep loving the magic of movies. This is The Filmistines, signing off.